Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mike Toledo. This episode is going to be an interview regarding Sal from Dent Experts, Sal Contreras. He talks about his dent dial. In the beginning of the video, you're going to hear my technician who actually bought his product, and he's going to share his point of view about what he thinks. So let's get started into the interview. I hope you guys enjoy it. Get a beer, get some popcorn, get something to eat. This is going to take a little bit of time. It's about 30 minutes. So hope you enjoy it and take care. What you got there? Okay, so that's the famous dent dial there, Bebo. This is my technician, Bebo Velasquez. He works for me, denttime.com. So, all right, Bebo, so what's your thoughts on it, dude?
Okay, here is what I think about my dent dial. This tool, I didn't use it too much, but when I use it, it really helps. It is totally different, like about the opposite of any other tool that I have. Any other tool, you're gonna push with the tip. This one, the way that I use it, I push just right with the middle. I use it on bed trucks. I stick my tool all the way underneath. I use this as a leverage, and then I start pushing with the middle of the tool. So this is the way that the tool works, and I never have any problem, never slip. If I try to push the same dent that I push with this one, I believe I may not gonna be able to do it, or either it's gonna take me double the time.
So you use it as, like, not necessarily this way, you use it a reverse way?
Yes, this way. And
Okay.
then I stick inside the bed truck, and then I start pushing with this middle part. Like
Oh,
this.
okay.
Let's say that I have the dent in here.
Uh-huh.
Any other tool, if I go like this, it maybe is gonna slip a little bit.
Gotcha.
And then I stick this one this way,
Uh-huh.
and then I push like this.
Okay. So that gives you good leverage. Now, what do you pry off of if you're inside of a bed like that, dude? What do you use for leverage?
Oh, you know, inside the bed, it's not another wall, but it's kind of far away. I use my extension, use this thing right here, put it on, and then go like this. This is the way that I use this tool.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
it works awesome.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the dent dial. That's my own technician, Bebo Velasquez, uses, and so you like it overall. That's
I
what
love
you.
it.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. All right. There you guys have it. Straight from me, directly from my own technician who used it and bought it. He likes it. Thanks, Bebo.
Thank you, man.
I'm Mike Toledo with Dent Time, and I've got Sal Contreras with Dent Experts from the Bay Area. And Sal, I'm sure everyone's by now seen a little bit of your stuff on YouTube, and you decided to bust out some of your secret tools I've seen lately, and mainly last year. And why'd you let the cat out of the bag now, Sal? Since you brought out the dent dial, what's your purpose of that? What are you trying to share with that? Because we know you're good with it. So go ahead.
Well, you know, when it comes to dents, and I've always been a door dinger, you know, and I've always been okay with taking things apart. So I found that whenever I took something apart and it had this big old hole to come in from, I was always clamping angle iron, pieces of steel in there just to get that great push. But I kept slipping. You know, when you stick something through the door and you start pushing, literally you're kind of doing what I call a pendulum effect. You start sliding a little bit. And I try to come up with a way to get perpendicular pushing, you know, like right on the dent, not sliding. And I started drilling holes in flat bars and trying to get that right center and work on it. But, you know, and our business has so much to do with incremental movement, you know. And so if you're working a crease and you got a 4-inch crease, 10-inch crease, you have to keep moving the tool. So, you know, the drilled hole in the center of the flat bar just wasn't really versatile. And that's when I thought, hey, I'm going to put a slot down the middle of it, and I can put it anywhere I want. Started, building that for myself and testing it in the field as a tech. which was the main thing. And then I thought, all right, if I use this every day, I probably could start building one and possibly selling one to people that would do the same. And it worked out. I applied for a patent and got it.
Well, how long ago did you come up with that idea?
Geez, like 2000, like this 2000, 2001. It was starting to kind of evolve in my toolbox. I had ideas for it back in the 90s, but I really didn't really pursue it because, you know, drilling holes, it worked until I started wanting it more precise.
Yeah.
And, by then, I really perfected what I wanted, especially that it's bendable. I think that was the main thing. And it held up over years and years of use, the different designs and metal structure. And sure enough, eventually years went by, nothing happened to the tool. It worked like crazy. And I started to think, okay, this is the time. So I applied and waited 3 years, 3 long years. Didn't tell anybody about it, just used it. And then eventually I got the U.S. patent.
Now, I know you have about 3 different sizes or so. What are the uses for each and the benefit you designed them for?
As you'll see in some of the pictures that I sent you, it's just thickness. You know, thicker metal can push more with more power. You know, so there are actually 5 tools. The big one is the 35 heavy, which is 3/8 of an inch thick steel and 35 inches long. Actually, I have it right here. And I'm just showing my tools today because I can do whatever I want to them, bend them or whatever, but this is out of my toolbox. And this is the only one I ever made for myself, and I don't think I'll ever replace it or break it. It's just indestructible. And this one here is 3/8 of an inch, but man, this thing has so much power.
It kind of looks like a dent wizard tool, you know, like those flat bars that go down the window, almost like one of those.
Well, flat bars I think have been around a long time, you know, and I never really saw a dent wizard tool. You know, they're real good at, you know, hiding and covering themselves up. But just I guess the way I'm created, I'm a flat bar guy all around. I guess being a carpenter, I'm always looking at leverage with pry bars and stuff, and it just made sense to me as opposed to working with a lot of the the rods, which I do have and I use a lot. You get a lot of slippage and a little, you know, turn here. It's not as good. I like nice, flat, solid setups, and that's why I use anything that's flat. It was just kind of natural, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Now you make a lot of these by hand, Sal. I know that, and you know, I've been talking a little bit for now, and you know, I know you're getting quite a few orders on them. And are you ever planning to you know, make them mass produced or have a machinist do it, take over for you, so you're not so stressed?
Well, I mean, you're just at this stage, you're building a brand. It's something that you have to start out with slow steps. You know, I see, or I've heard and seen and met, you know, guys that go a little too far too fast, and then if the demand isn't there, or at least the name isn't out there yet, you could really have a lot of inventory sitting somewhere waiting to sell it, you know. And custom making them right now makes the quality so high that the user really gets what I'm trying to make, because I'm making it based on what I need as a tech, you know. Yeah. So I'm always tweaking it and trying to make it better, and as it's evolved, it really has proven to be something that I've never had anybody turn one back and say, I hate this tool, I never want it. Some of the early guys that bought it with the square end, and only recently I decided that wasn't a good idea because it's kind of useless. When I had a solid bar, it was great to twist it and get good power off of a square, you know, the end of a square here. But with this tool, it might flex because of the rail, so now I have both sides round, and it's great. This is my 35 light, and this has been the most recent change. Because I bend these tools a lot, and they can hold up to the bending, and I tend to, you know, slide them down the door to go after dents in the door. It seems quick to me, and I always kept one side bent, and I keep bending it. But now that I have both sides rounded, one side's a little more curled, and the other side's a little more flat, and that way I don't have to bend it as much. But a little tweaking here and there, you can get it down the glass and get the right leverage off the center of the glass for power. And then this tool being so slim, you can actually fit a tip on it, a real slim tip, and then control the direction of the tip to the crevice of the dent. That's kind of what I believe and what I try to do. So that's what makes the tool so versatile, is that not only can you add a tip to the end and still have it slim and bend it and get it to that spot, but you can also, in these pictures I'm going to send you, you can also attach any kind of ratchet set up here to lock the pressure in, and that's what I like to do as well.
Yeah, you definitely have some out of the box, ideas, Sal, and that's great. I mean, that's what people want to see, and it's been the same generally for a long time, more the way people do it, and that kind of goes with reflections. When people saw my line board, I wish I could take credit for the whole thing, but that's a different story. But going back to you is, you got some out of the box stuff and it works, and it might not be for everybody, but it's there for people to try and explore, and
Sure.
that's what's great about it. And that's why obviously I'm interviewing you too. You're an interesting guy all the way around. So I got interesting tools, and I'm sure as we talked before, you have some more interesting things to bring out. But that's again another later thing. So
well, thank you. I mean, the main thing is thanks for the interview. Always thanks for your media savvy. To get this stuff out there to people to help them out. I think that's fantastic.
One thing I want to talk about, Sal, is again back to the uses. Now you have 3 different sizes. Is that correct? You have 3 or 4?
Here, I have them right here. And
okay.
Remember, I'm showing you what's in my box right now. So I've never broke these tools, and they just go on forever. So they're not the prettiest right now. A lot of the times you see a tool in somebody's bag or bag or box. Pretty shiny. I don't mind it looking rough because it's a hard working tool. So this is the 22 heavy. I'm sorry. This is the 22 light in my hands right now. So this shape could change, throughout the week, from straight to a little curved to really curved, depending on where I want my tip, here or here. It's endless, the different designs and setups I could make with this tool.
Now, Sal, do you recommend that, to bend that tool? Do you recommend somebody having like a little trailer hitch with a little spikes or something like that so they can adjust? I mean, is that something that you recommend, or how would you bend that tool if they didn't?
As you can see from the picture, I always create a bend in my bumper of my truck, and I give people video instruction when they buy the tool as to how not to bend it, like right here in the vise, where you can't bend it at an angle because that the screw is in the middle of the vise and it kind of turns it on its side a little bit. So these should all be bent in like a perfect one is a frame rack in a body shop, or a sewer grate in the street, or your bumper where you could stick it in a slot and just step on it.
I've done the sewer grate. Yeah, I've done that before. With some of my own tools.
Just going to bring out all of them right now. So here's the 35 heavy.
Okay.
There's the 35 light. This is the 22 heavy with all the setup in it right now. Probably something I just did yesterday. This is the 22 light. And then my little 10-inch Panel Pro, which I put micro tips on here, and the tip is shaved right here, so I could shove it up inside the upper frame brace of the door and then still push on it. And sometimes you need to do that, and I may not use this tool for like a week, but there's always that one dent.
Yeah, specialty.
Yeah, and it's in your toolbox, you'll use it. If not, then you'll try and find something else to work. But as a technician, I want speed out of some of these setups because they do take a while to think about them. This really helps you because you don't have to think about the setup. You just got to think about how to set up the tool, and that's something you get real good at.
All right, Sal, you know what? I haven't personally had the chance to use your dent dial. I've been meaning to. I've been meaning to grab it from my tech. I meant to grab it yesterday from him, but he was in totally opposite areas. But I had a chance to talk to him, and he shared my thoughts on it. And I said, hey, how is Sal's tool? I mean, do you really need it or do you not? He says, Mike, when I need it, it works. It works really good. Especially, it works like no other tool. So we're going to put him on there, and you're going to hear from him probably right now, because actually I'll get the video clip. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to video him, and he's going to share his thoughts with you and the whole world, okay, about how he thinks. My own tech, I trained, okay? So So we'll get back to that clip and show him, but and then y'all be surprised you see what he reacts. But how's your feedback so far on these from your customers? I mean, I see a lot on Facebook people some getting some good feedback on it. I mean, what's your feedback?
I would say it's the same almost with my videos. Sometimes you don't hear from people because they're still in the process of learning how to do whatever it is they're trying new, you know. That I noticed that the more I put on Facebook as far as the use of it, and the more other people are accepting of the tool, people are more willing to try it. But it has a lot to do with your thinking in terms of access. You know, like on Facebook recently, somebody asked about a dent at the very front of a door with double pane glass. So, you know, that has an obvious strategy from a tech's point of view as to how to take that dent out and not break the glass, not pinch the rail. So if you're a tech that thinks in terms of at least I do. I always think in terms of setting up the right push. So when I'm pushing, I'm getting maximum push out as well as maximum acre. You know, I guess it would be real estate on the dent as I can get. And I firmly believe in that the bigger, wider push you can get that has the right shape to the back of the dent, you can lift so much of it out so fast. You've saved yourself finish time down the road, because if you beat it up too soon, you're there a lot longer than you should be.
Yeah, and I can relate to that, because you can let's say take a soft tip, okay, and you got one small part of a tip compared to your dent dowel where you can put a bigger diameter on there, and you're pushing. I can totally relate to what you're saying. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I know what you're saying. Like, let's say I have a soft tip, which I mainly use. I use a lot of soft pretty much put on there is the Craftsman hammer that you can twist off those rubber caps and stuff. I know what you mean, because you're trying to push more of an area with the smaller tip than you would with the bigger tip, like let's say your dent dial you're doing, and you're pushing a smoother area with less finishing, as you're mentioning. I totally get it, and that's a huge benefit. For me, if I was to get your dent dial, that's the number one reason I would get it.
Yeah, I mean, when a crease is a good example. You know, a 10-inch crease, kind of a light one made by, I don't know, a bumper or something, or even a mirror. You know, you kind of want to. I always believe you kind of want to go with the direction of the crease instead of the way I used to do it. I just chop it up into 1,000 pieces, you know, with a round tip. And after a while, I was like, man, I got to get something that's going to cover more real estate. And that's when I started to come up with ways of doing that. But it took more time. It's almost like a discipline of stopping yourself and getting a tool to it really quick and starting to push on it. Because I guess what scared me was that with experience, I kind of figured out, all right, every push I make, I'm adding 15 minutes to my time, because I end up seeing that push in the end like, that one's too big or too sharp. So, I don't know, with experience and I guess age, you start to go slower. So, you know, if you watch me work, sometimes people say, Sal, you're so slow. But when I get the tool to the dent, all of a sudden the pushes are 1, 2, 3. Then they realize, wow, that was done in seconds, but it took you, 10 minutes to think of the setup. But I don't know. In the end, if the final product looks better, I think you're saving time.
Oh, definitely. That's the whole point, is people want the cleanest dent repairs they can. I mean, it's getting, 10 years ago, 80% was acceptable for everybody. It's like, oh, that's the way it is. That's how PDR. Now, you get to compare and you show different reflections. You throw, between your panning videos, between the lines that we throw up on there, are different other people. It sets the bar higher, because you know what? When you're going into a dent and you're thinking, oh man, I saw Sal Contreras' dent, man. I ain't walking away from this, because I know it can get better. I've seen it. Or I see Mike Toledo, his line boards on there, or I've seen some of the guys on Facebook who are phenomenal techs. I mean, between not just obviously beyond you. We're not just talking Sal. You're a great tech, and there's other techs out there too as well. I have to give them credit, you know. And I think,
Yeah.
as a whole, when everybody gets together and shows what's possible, it really, I think, makes the industry a whole lot better. Obviously, and you've helped do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, my thing with video and versus pictures and is how it has to do more with our perspective on pricing. You know, if it kind of bothered me at some point a long time ago when somebody was saying, "Gosh, you charge 500 for that? I would charge only 200 for that, and it would look just the same." And I kept thinking, "Gosh, I'd love to see your work at the 200 versus my 500 because I can't seem to go any faster." And once in a while, I would walk upon a lot and see the work, and then realize, okay, it's for that purpose of selling the car. But I wonder how that, you know, that same technique or that same result would how that would work out working at somebody's home. And so I kept thinking that there's got to be another level of, I guess, quality that's demanded by the consumer. And I went after it. You know, I figured there was more people out there that were real anal, I guess, for lack of a better word, on their cars, and they would demand more perfection. And I live in a pretty big, you know, area, San Francisco Bay Area, millions of people, and I find them. They really want it gone, and they don't want to see any flutter or waves.
Yeah, Sal, and that's what I'm saying. It's definitely set the bar. Everybody's bar is different because consciously, how can you be a good tech if you're going into doing a retail and going, that's good enough, and you're paying attention to YouTube, you're paying attention to Facebook, you're on Doording.com, you know, you're comparing. You can't basically leave that type of repair compared to what you know is out there, and that's what I think is all the PDR techs are finally getting, regardless if they're brand new or they're a veteran tech. Oh man, shoot, that's the way it's done now. I mean, I have to finish that, you know. And there's other competitors now that are all over the place. If you don't on Facebook or Doording by now, I mean, you're in a cave. So that's what I try to tell people. But besides that, Sal, I mean, I've got a couple more questions for you. Now, I know that you know, you've been doing this for a while, but do you see yourself, you know, past 50? Do you think you'll still be doing dents, or you be doing a little bit of a lot, or where are you going to go towards? Where are you leaning towards at right now? Have you thought about it?
I have, because yeah, I'm at 48. It's I'm not physically feeling it. I guess because I do take my time and I try and just do 1 or 2 jobs a day. I find that lowers my stress. Running from job to job as I used to, trying to do 10 cars a day kind of thing, I had to stay away from that because that was a lot of stress. And I figured, okay, I'll just get good at doing the big ones because I like just doing 1 or 2 jobs a day, but, you know, still hitting the numbers, you know, and charging for it. Because to me, I've been in and out of body shops for so many years. They are painting things that we could do. I guarantee it. It happens every day in every town throughout the U.S. They are painting things that we can fix.
Yeah.
So what's happening is they kind of, you know, there's an ebb and flow of work they're giving to us, or insurance is giving to us, that if we somehow harnessed more of those larger dents, it would just, I guess, offer more work to everybody instead of you know, looking for the easy stuff, because there's a lot of us now out there. And that's kind of where I kind of pointed my career, is how to do the big ones that other people can't do, so I can stay in business as a tech for a long time. And but things are changing. This tool is appealing to the auto body industry now, because I did sell quite a few to body shops, and they really see the benefit of having such power behind a dent instead of, you know, tacking a weld on there and pulling it, because you still have to grind it off and sand down. But if you use these tools, they actually can kind of slap it and make it fairly smooth enough to now get into more cutting and maybe a light skim coat. So if the auto body industry really accepts the tool, which I'm going to be promoting a lot more than PDR, then that might be the direction I go in.
Yeah.
the other direction is videos. It's been a real successful run on the videos. Have had great feedback, so I like that, and I still have at least 3 more in me to put out there. One of them being how to final finish. Not that I'm the premier final finisher, but if I have a good strategy and it's a good formula, I kind of want to pass it on, mainly because my sons aren't going to do this, and if I end up just working on my house the rest of my life and not doing dents again, it would have been nice to have recorded something that somebody can look at and learn from down the road, because this trade has been around for so long. I think we just kind of get old and move on, and then another guy has to learn the thing all over again. And it'd be nice to see it kind of stay at a standard that people can accept as PDR is quality work.
Well, Sal, I think you pretty much gave us a really good insight on your dent dials, and hey, let me know if you need a product video, man. I'll help you out. So, Sal, I just want to say thanks a lot. You're always interesting to talk to, even off camera. We talk quite a lot, and I just want to say thanks a lot for your time. We're doing this on a Saturday, and I know you and we kind of postponed it a couple times, but I just want to say thanks a lot, Sal, for your time. And hey, are you planning to go to MTE this year?
I am. We got my tickets, got the hotel all set. I'm gonna bring my 35 light to compete in the Dent Olympics, see how I do, and just try and enjoy the experience again. I had a great time, meeting a lot of people from last year, and meeting people I think is a big step, because working alone for so many years in driveways, I didn't know that this whole industry was so much bigger on the hail side. I thought everybody was a door dinger. I honestly did.
Yeah.
And I thought everybody was doing big dents because all the little ones were getting cheaper. I had no idea hail existed the way it does. We're such a minority compared to that.
Yeah, that's a huge topic. I mean, I think there's more hail guys than there are than door dinger guys, for sure. So, but
and then pulling. I mean, the artistry and glue pulling with some of the masters out there. It's great meeting those people, showing respect to them for what they do, and just meeting people that, we're just fooling around here, in make-believe land, it seems, on the Facebook and DoorDing. We're truly not all like this, in a way. When we meet each other, we just all start laughing, and that's kind of what I enjoyed last year.
That's exactly what it is. And it's,
guys that you're having fun with on these threads and the way they carry on, but you finally see them in person, you just start busting up laughing and go have a beer together.
Well, Sal, I look forward to seeing you in person. I'm sure everybody is going to as well at MTE. And if anybody hasn't or doesn't know what MTE, it's Mobile Tech Expo. I'll post it on here on this video, and you guys can check it out. But meanwhile, Sal, thanks a lot again for your time. I'm Mike Toledo. That's Sal Contreras, and we'll catch you up on the next interview. See you, Sal. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Mike. It's always good to talk to you.
You too.